Hello everyone and welcome to Mail Something Pretty. I'm Christine Josty and today I'm going to make and show you how to make this really cute little Easter box. When I was designing it, I thought it would be a good jelly bean box because I love jelly beans, but it's February and the jelly beans really weren't out yet, but the Cadbury little eggs were. And so I'll show you. So I did put these inside of it. And so it's just a sweet little box that tucks in for Easter, although you could decorate it for any occasion, but I happen to do these for Easter. But I did some that had a plaid background. These two just had different colored bows. And then this final one, I ended up putting the large bunny instead of the small bunny inside. So there's some customization as well, certainly with colors and everything. So let me actually put that one aside. And I'm going to show you how to make it. I'm using the Easter Basket stamp set and dies. And so that is in the 2026 mini catalog. And so you can kind of see the offerings here. There's like these 2 pages, and then they have these fun 2 pages. So it's a sweet little set that you can use for Easter and spring. All right, so we're going to start with just a whole sheet of paper, cardstock, and we're going to trim it just a little bit. So I have my directions here. I want to take a little screenshot. Hopefully you can read my writing. That's what I was using when I was designing it. And I have my little template here so we can kind of follow along. But really what we want to start with is a piece of cardstock 6.5 by 11. So that's what we're going to do. I'm using, that's actually kind of funny, Summer Splash for an Easter box, but it's nice and bright and cheery, and I figured it was kind of gender neutral. And so that's why I chose it. All right, so we want to cut this at 6.5 because this is already at 11 inches. So that's it. So just one cut, and then this is the base of the box. So we're going to do some scoring. So in this, what I call the portrait side, we're going to score at 1/2 inch. One and a half inches, 5 inches, and 6 inches. All right, so these two are actually symmetrical, so I could have flipped them around and that would have been the same, but that's not the case in the other direction. So that was 1/2 inch, 1.5 inch, 5 inch, 6 inch. And we're going to turn it to the landscape position, and we are going to score it at 1/2 inch, 1.5 inches, 5.5 inches, 6.5, and 10.5. I will put these measurements in the description with this video so you can have them. I'll also just put this here too, again, if you wanted a screenshot. But those are the scoring down there. And all these numbers you don't need to worry about, but that's kind of how I figured out the measurements. Okay, so that is it for the scoring. So we're going to do a little cutting. So the difference here, you know, this side and this side is symmetrical. This side and this side are almost. You have your, I don't know if you can see, but there's just a little tab here. But down here you have, it's a bigger inch box and then a little tab. So that's the difference right there, because I wanted it to open up just with this little tab. All right, so now, so the one with just the little tab, that's the top. Here, if you look here, the little tab here, that's the top. And the one that has that inch and then the tab, that's the bottom. Really, will go kind of like that. So we're just going to do some cutting. So we are going to cut, actually, I think that helps you if I just put this on top so you can kind of see. Let me put that there. Again, if you wanted to take a screenshot, let me get it straight. You can do that. But I'm just going to put it here. So I'm going to cut off the little square in that rectangle. And rather than just going straight up, I'm actually just gonna make my notch here. So it's all one piece. And I'm gonna do the same thing on that side. So it looks like that. Now I have written down here, don't fold. So there's a score line here, don't fold it. It's not the end of the world if you do, but I'll show you why I'm not going to fold it. And then for these side tabs, I'm gonna cut both the slits here. And then I'm gonna cut this little, usually what I do is I fold that down. I'm gonna cut this off. And then actually I am gonna notch this too, so well, this makes it easier when we put it together. And I'll do the same thing on this side. Fold it this way, fold that so I can get that little tab. And then I'll notch it. Okay, so that's what it looks like so far. So that's my top, that's the middle, and now we're gonna do the bottom. So we're gonna do the same thing we did here, but I'm actually just gonna mimic what I did at the top first. So cut that off, and then I'm going to snip here. I'm gonna keep this little tab. You can cut it off, but I'm just gonna notch this side like that. And I'll show you why. It doesn't matter if you cut that off or not, but figured it's gonna get tucked in, so it just saves a step. Actually, well, I'll cut this first, that off. I'm gonna notch this, and then just cut here. I think that's all the cutting. So it looks like that. Okay. Move all that stuff over. Okay, so we are going, actually, this is how I did it in Club. It seemed to help. So again, the top is the one just with the little tab. So I'm gonna fold on the score line that aligns with that notch. This is the score line here that I said not to fold. So those two come in the middle, and I'm just gonna glue those straight down. They're all taken care of. And burnish here too. Glue that down. And that actually helps it stick. So then, there we go. So then we can fold that part over, because that's going to be the little lip of the box that gets tucked in. All right, so now we can fold here. And we can fold this one. And fold these little side tabs. We can fold this tab, and these ones can get folded. And kind of, hopefully you can see the box coming together, how it's going to come together. These two. So these are the two little side tabs I said that I didn't bother to cut off, although you can. I'm not even gonna fold them, because what's gonna happen is they're gonna get just tucked, just glued straight in. So I'm gonna fold here, and then I'm gonna fold here. Okay, so everything, you can kind of see, if I tuck these guys in, both tabs get tucked in the middle, like that. Get that out of the way. And so the sides will come up. So you have the option. This piece I'm going to glue shut. Actually, I can even do that right now. Let's just glue that shut. And I could have designed it so that was actually cut straight off, but you have a nicer rounded edge there, which I think is better than just a cut edge. All right, so these guys are gonna get glued in on the sides here. you have the option to either leave these alone. So, oh, I forgot. I'm gonna notch them. Actually, no. Did I notch all of them? I guess I did. All right, so we're gonna notch those before I cut them or glue them. I liked leaving that there because it kind of gave a little bit of a, I don't know, snugness, or so things weren't falling out. But certainly, depending on what you put in the box, you could definitely glue them down so you have an open box. So that is totally up to you. But I did not notch these, so I'm gonna go back, and you don't have to, but it just kind of sits a little bit better. Okay, so I'm gonna put glue on these little tabs here, and I'm just going to glue them, and just pay attention to your corners. You want to keep them at kind of right angles or 90 degrees. You kind of have to hold them in place a minute. I do like using this, I'll show you to you, the multi-purpose liquid glue for boxes. I actually use it for everything. But it gives a good strong stick, especially for boxes. You could use tear and tape. I would not use just a regular tape runner. I don't think it's strong enough, especially if you put those chocolates in the box. Okay, so that's one side. So this is the glue that I like to use. And now I can actually put that on the side. Put some glue and some glue. Give it a little pinch. And it's gonna slide out of place for a second. I just wanna get this one. And that's what's nice about the glue too. You have a few seconds before it really sticks. So you can slide things around, but also it's nice. You don't have to wait a long time for it to see. It's already started to glue down. Just makes your projects go a little faster. All right. So there we go. So there is our box. So now we get to decorate it. Again, it doesn't have to be Easter. You can, just looking for the cover of my glue. There it is. I do like to keep the cover on it when I'm not using it to prevent clogs. All right, so I'm gonna set that aside and we're gonna decorate. So I have all my pieces kind of cut and ready to go, but I'll kind of talk you through them. So these two, I use a pattern. I thought it needed breaking up a little bit, and this one I used the plaid embossing folder, and I like the basket on this color directly, but it was a little bit plain, you know, if I just had it straight. So that's why I did the plaid or the pattern. This is, I think, I don't even know if this is still current paper, but just pick whatever, you know, matches. But I'm going to actually build my scene flat on the paper here before I attach it to my box. So I have, let's get all my pieces here. I have the basket, the little scallop trim. I have some grass. I have a bow. And I have some eggs. And I have, we'll just do the little chocolate bunny. But they came from the stamp set, the Easter basket. So you can see where I stamped them. And these are the dies. But to see them up close, I have them here. The basket and the scallop. You get all these things. There is an egg die. I actually just cut these with scissors. It was a little faster than lining it up. I'll show you what this die is in a second. I don't think we're going to use it, but I will point it out to you. All right, so this piece is, let's see what size it is. 3 1/4 by 3 3/4. And I just basically just measured the top of the box to see what size I needed. I'm not going to glue the, actually, we're not going to do that. We're going to take this so you can actually see the contrast. There we go. We're actually going to put glue on the grass first. And I use Lemon Lime Twist for my grass, but you can use any colors. Easter grass comes in all sorts of colors. And I'm actually going to put this right on top that way. Now I have seen projects with the grass on the bottom or the grass on the top, but for this one I'm going to put the grass below, because then we're going to put this little scallop trim, which you could do in a different color, but I just decided keep it all the same. This is basic beige, this basket, but again, Easter baskets come in all different colors. All right, so it's cute, just like that, right? This box, you can kind of see some weaving in there, and that's where this piece came into play. And so I cut some out just to show you. It cuts out all the, I think it's 8 little tiny little strips. And what you do is, this comes already pre-cut, so you can weave them in back and forth. I've heard of some tricks that maybe I'll do another one. Some people, I guess, are cutting off the bottom, and it makes it easier to slide them in. And then they, I think that's when they were putting the grass on the bottom. It's a little tedious to get these strips in here. That's why I only did 3 instead of the 8 it provided. But if you like to do that, my hands don't quite work that way. Go for it. I think the basket looks just nice like that. Okay, so now I'm going to put that on top. I'm not going to glue the basket down yet. Oh, there's a little something. Let's see what I get. Oh, it gets covered up. There we go. I'm going to kind of place my bunny. Bunny's going to go about there. I kind of like the ears over the handle. So I'm going to just leave that there. I'm going to glue just the glue on the bottom of the bunny so that it will be able to go over the handle. Kind of raise it up a little bit. And then I'm going to place my eggs. I think I'll just keep the pattern I was doing. I was doing yellow. Oh, actually, hold on. I think I need to do the one in the top in the back. So we got blue. We'll do yellow. Again, you have a moment to kind of fiddle with them because of the glue. And this is, I think, Bubble Bath with Fresh Rishi ink, I think. All right. So I think that's good. All right, so once I have those there, now I'm going to put some glue. Just a little bit on the handle. I'm going to kind of pull the ears up and glue it in that way. And there's flowers in this set. You can make the basket full of like Mother's Day flowers or anything like that, or May Day, or... Okay, so there we go. So now that is ready to go right on top. I just think it was easier to assemble it before it was on the box. And actually, I'm going to flip my box so it's flat, so I can give it a good press. There we go. And then we'll put a little bow. Use a little dimensional, or go. Just cut a dimensional. Like that. Oh, that's so cute. These are my cute little baby shower boxes, or all sorts of things. All right, so we need to attach our little ribbon. Actually, hold on. We can decorate the inside first. So this one I did. I just put more plaid on the inside, so you could do that. This one I put a little Happy Easter with the bunny, so I think we'll do that. So I have just a strip of paper. I just measured the width of my stamp. This is Petunia Pop. This is actually going to be a retiring color soon, so If you like any of the ink colors that went with this, which, let's see if I can remember, are actually Summer Splash, Petunia Pop, Pretty in Pink, Shy Shamrock, and Peach Pie. Any of those colors are retiring in April, but they always kind of sell out before their retirement date. So if it's a color you like, I suggest buying some cardstock or re-inker or ribbon or whatever it is you like. So we're just going to do like Happy Easter. So you can kind of see, you know, there's seams there, but once we put this on here, it's going to kind of disappear. You certainly could put another sheet of paper and then decorate it too. And you could probably even do a dimensional. Let's do a dimensional. Why not? I think that one I glued flat, but there's room in the box for the dimensional. There we go. So Happy Easter, or any other message you want to put inside. So the last thing we have to do is put the ribbon on there. So again, I'm just going to flip it flat, and I'm going to grab a pencil and my ruler. So I'm going to measure. This is from kind of side to side, 3.5 inches. So halfway, half of 3 is 1.5, and then 1/4. So 1 3/4. I'm going to put a little pencil mark right on that fold. Then I'm going to take a paper punch. This is wicked old, as we say. It's an old crocodile, so you can use whatever hole punch you want. I'm going to use my smaller hole here. I'm going to look through it. I can see the hole and punch a hole. And then I'm going to take ribbon. So this is, I think it's Balmy Blue Gingham. And I'm going to take about 4 inches or so, 4 or 5 inches, and cut it. And I'm going to take the 2 ends together. I'm going to push them through the hole. And if you need help, you can use like a poker. Let's see. Because we can trim the ends. There we go. We actually only need like a little, just a little loop just to kind of grab it. And this, I have to say, I thought I was pretty clever in coming up with this. Instead of doing a knot, because that would be a pain in the neck, I'm going to take a mini dimensional. Works out perfectly. It's the right size for this ribbon, but I don't have one. So I'm just going to trim like a dimensional in half. I'm going to put it on the inside of the 1/2 of the ribbon, pull it off, and stick down the other half on top. And what that does is it creates like a stopper. So now the ribbon doesn't come through because it's too thick. And then if you want to trim to a smaller size, you can do that. So I was pretty happy with that discovery. All right, so there's our box. So now you can fill it with jelly beans was my intention, or like I said, the Cadbury, little mini Cadbury eggs, or I mean, certainly this is big enough for a gift card or some of those like wrapped candy. You know, you guys, you can fill it with whatever you like. But I can tell you actually what the measurements, what did I say, 3.5? 3.5 by 4. So it's a good size box. All right, there we go. Let's put that there so you can kind of see all options. If you have questions, just let me know. I'll put the measurements in the description so you have them, and you can certainly replay the video and take screenshots so you have it. If you don't receive my emails, I send them out every Tuesday. Please sign up. Just go to mailsomethingpretty.com, and there's a box right there on the front page, and you can sign up and you'll get all sorts of great paper crafting information. Leave a comment, let me know what you think of my boxes, and I'll get back to you. Thanks so much and have a great day. Bye-bye.